Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Julie and I mostly make content surrounding topics such as music, makeup, as well as mental health. Today's video is mental health related as it is part of my Let's Get Clinical series in which I discuss various mental health conditions with you in regard to their symptoms, prevalence rates, as well as potential treatment options. I get most of my information from here, the DSM-V. This is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, where most mental health conditions are located. For today's video, we are still talking about personality disorders, and specifically for today, we are discussing paranoid personality disorder. Now, paranoid personality disorder is classified as a cluster A personality disorder in the DSM. Cluster A personality disorders include paranoid, schizoid, as well as schizotypal personality disorders. These personality disorders in Cluster A are specifically referred to as odd or eccentric type personality disorders. Moving forward, according to the DSM-V, paranoid personality disorder is defined as a pervasive distrust and suspiciousness of others, such that their motives are interpreted as malevolent, beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts as indicated by 4 or more of the following. There are 7 potential symptoms here an individual could have, but they only need 4 for the diagnosis. So let's go through these symptoms. Symptom 1, suspects without sufficient basis that others are exploiting, harming, or deceiving them. 2, is preoccupied with unjustified doubts about the loyalty or trustworthiness of friends or associates. 3, is reluctant to confide in others because of unwarranted fear that the information will be used maliciously against them. 4, reads hidden, demeaning, or threatening meanings into benign remarks or events. 5, persistently bears grudges such as being unforgiving of insults, injuries, or slights. 6, perceives attacks on his or her character or reputation that are not apparent to others and is quick to react angrily or to counterattack. And finally, symptom 7 pertains to the individual has recurrent suspicions without justification regarding fidelity of spouse or sexual partner. There is a second criterion in order to constitute for this diagnosis. They specify that paranoid personality disorder does not occur exclusively during the course of schizophrenia, a bipolar disorder or depressive disorder with psychotic features, or another psychotic disorder, that these symptoms are not attributable to the physiological effects caused by another medical condition. So all of those aspects need to be ruled out before giving an individual this diagnosis if they have 4 out of those 7 symptoms. Another note made by the DSM is that if these symptoms are noticeable prior to the onset of schizophrenia, then it's referred to as paranoid personality disorder pre-morbid. And we'll get into the tie between this condition and schizophrenia in just a moment. Now I want to move forward into the associated features supporting diagnosis section of the DSM. I think this section is really important because although I sat here and read you the symptoms, it's hard to fully get a picture of what is going on for an individual with this condition without further detail. So, according to the DSM, these individuals with paranoid personality disorder have major difficulties getting along with others, and they especially struggle within close relationships. The excessiveness of their suspiciousness and hostility may come out through them being argumentative, constantly complaining, or presenting as aloof but in a hostile manner. While individuals with this condition may appear to be cold and lack emotion or even come across as objective or rational, they mostly tend to engage in hostile, stubborn, as well as sarcastic expressions in regard to their affect. So how they present themselves as well as their overall mood. Since these individuals can be hostile, even regarding a minor offense, remember, a minor injury, insult, or slight by another individual really triggers these individuals specifically. Now, if someone reacts to you in a hostile manner, many of us, myself included, are going to be hostile back in response. So oftentimes, these individuals who act hostile toward others trigger that hostility in the individual they're being hostile toward, which further ties into their paranoid beliefs that everyone is out to get them and hurt them, and solidifies that, unfortunately. People with paranoid personality disorder also strive to be self-sufficient and have a strong sense of autonomy, which I find very interesting because with most mental health conditions, we lack a sense of autonomy, but that is actually a strength for these individuals. They also seek to be able to control those around them. They tend to be critical of others, fail to collaborate, but they can't accept outside criticism themselves, even if they are overly critical of others. These individuals are likely to connect with others who have a similar mindset. Other individuals with paranoid personality disorder or similar traits may be referred to as fanatics or even cult members, not to say by any means that every individual who has this condition falls into these groups, but they are more likely to find a group if the belief system in that group aligns with theirs. In response to stressful events, these individuals can also uniquely experience brief psychotic episodes that tend to last anywhere from minutes to hours. Paranoid personality disorder can also be the antecedent to other paranoid conditions, such as delusional disorder, as well as schizophrenia. Individuals with paranoid personality disorder are also likely to develop co-occurring major depressive disorder. They are at an increased risk of developing agoraphobia and OCD as well. Substance abuse disorders are particularly common for this population, and other co-occurring personality disorders can persist along with paranoid personality disorder, most commonly schizotypal, schizoid, narcissistic, avoidant, as well as borderline personality disorder. Okay. Let's move forward into prevalence now. So briefly from the DSM, they discuss that part 2 of the National Comorbidity Survey replication suggested a 2.3% prevalence rate, while the National Epidemiologic Survey on Alcohol and Related Conditions data suggested a higher prevalence rate at 4.4% potentially. So the prevalence could be anywhere from 2.3% to 4.4% potentially, depending on where you're collecting your data from. Moving forward into treatment options for this population who have paranoid personality disorder. Although some research has found efficacy to medication management for paranoid personality disorder, it is not advised as it could potentially worsen symptoms tied to paranoia. This is why psychotherapy in particular is the most highly recommended treatment option, although building a relationship between therapist and client and having the client learn to trust the therapist is going to be very difficult, in particular for these individuals. Unlike other mental health conditions, family or group therapy is not suggested to treat this condition, as these situations can cause more paranoia in these individuals. The most crucial aspect of counseling for these people pertains to the client to therapist relationship, and that relationship being positive. The therapist needs to make sure that they're speaking directly to the client when working with them, as a joke could potentially be internalized as an insult, and that could negatively affect the relationship and even result in early termination of counseling for these clients. Client-centered counseling in particular is also the recommended treatment modality for these clients, which makes sense to me since they value their autonomy and control so much. And as clinicians, we can give clients autonomy and control in counseling as long as they are respectful to us and there are still some ethical boundaries in place. Since paranoid beliefs are also at the forefront of this condition, it makes sense to address these beliefs through cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT. This will help these individuals to confront their paranoid beliefs and also hopefully manage their anger and hostility that comes out in social interactions. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel as well. You can follow me on my socials down below. My Instagram's Julie_counseling. My Twitter's JulieCounseling with no underscore. My coaching Instagram's Julie_coaching. And my Facebook page will be linked down below in the description as well. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye all.